The next part of our session will focus on shaping the future. To help us do this, we have asked 3 of our certified members to provide us with their insights. First, our guest speaker, Andrew Monkman, will let us know how his designation has helped him in his career. Then we will ask questions of a panel. And lastly, we want to hear from you, so we will open it up for comments and questions. Our guest speaker is Andrew Monkman. Andrew has been a certified EP since 2019, and he has more than 20 years of experience in environmental health and safety. Andrew is currently the Health and Safety Manager at Give and Go Foods, where he ensures the safety of workers as well as the environment. Andrew has been well recognized for his achievements. He received the McTaggart-Cohen Excellence in Project Leadership Award and the George Burwish Memorial Award. He also received OHS Canada's Top 25 Under 40 Award, and recently Andrew was awarded the Fellow OACETT designation. Please welcome Andrew Monkman.
I am trying to get every single alphabet after my name, so zoology is next. So if you know any preferred designations, please let me know. So thank you, Colleen, for the warm introduction. I've been with Eco-Canada for 10 plus years. I am passionate about it. I continuously volunteer because I believe on what we're doing. And what has helped me with Eco-Canada is it provides a lot of flexibility and opportunities to grow my skills. Not locked. So I began my career in the natural sciences, but then I saw an opportunity because, show of hands, who here is actually from the manufacturing industry? You're my new favorite. There you go. Basically, I saw an opportunity because there's not a lot of environmental professionals in the manufacturing industry, and everything that I worked for the natural science, I didn't lose. So I could build off all a lot of the opportunities that I developed with Eco-Canada, and I have 5 professional designations, and I've used a lot of these tools to help shape a lot of the environmental programs and become recognized as a change leader. So even though you may want to start off in a different field in Eco-Canada, there's always opportunities if you see the growth. We heard some new designations that are coming down the pipeline. That's great news. I actually didn't know we were doing the greenhouse gases certification, so I actually have some employees that would actually really benefit for them. But unlike a lot of designations, you heard a lot of the designations after my name. What I like about Eco-Canada is they require you to continuously learn and improve your skills. When you just pay an annual due, you don't get much out of it. They want you to stay ahead of the curve. So that's why it's such a benefit to do the CPD. It can be a bit of a challenge, but it actually makes you a leader in the industry. And while you're constantly reinventing yourself, you're ahead of the curve. I was doing the other session. We were talking about AI. I have 0 experience with AI. I'm one of the people that are a little skittish with AI because I haven't really been utilizing it. So there's definitely more opportunities and growth as the industry changes. Like, the environmental field is so broad, make sure you're open and adaptable to take on new challenges, because we need that in our professionals. They have to be able to be flexible, and Eco-Canada actually can support that. And what the certification has done to help me in my personal growth is support, credibility, and recognition. Recognition. Why are we here? It's eco-impact. We're actually recognizing a lot of our professionals. We're bringing professionals all across Canada and sharing all the great ideas. It's a wonderful network opportunity. I came last year, really enjoyed it. Wasn't as cold as it is this year, so I blame Eco-Canada on that one, but that's fine. And support. I have 20 years experience, 7 years of schooling, 5 professional designations, and I can confidently say in front of each and every one of you, I do not know everything. I don't even try to lie that I know everything. So that's what's great about Eco-Canada. With Eco-Impact, we have all these network resources, like the Blue Economy. That's great news. I do not have any experience in that, so I can pull from a lot of our professionals here and learn from each and every one of you. Again, the environmental is so broad. Don't just limit yourself with looking at your particular specialization. Look at the holistic approach, and that's what's great about support with the Eco Canada designation. And credibility. So unlike a lot of other professional designations, you can use it across Canada. In my past, I managed 10 sites across Canada, and the designation came with me. So that showed I was a leading expert in whatever province I was. The specializations came with me, and I was still the leader. And last but not least, I'll try to wrap it up, what I'm seeing in the industry, a lot of businesses are trying to get engaged with the environmental requirements, but they actually do not know what they need to do. So that's why we as environmental professionals have to take the lead in trying to champion it and educate a lot of our companies. Like with ESG, that is becoming such a big thing. It's not just a regulatory requirement. We're seeing a lot of European nations making it law and demanding that we have to follow it. Canada and US are following suit just very slowly, but it's going to become second nature. And do we have the professionals to support that new mindset? And right now, I would say we don't. So we need professionals to be skilled in those certain areas. So again, broaden your skills. In my past, I also used the Eco Canada Labor Force report to kind of help justify growing my team. With this, they actually developed and changed their whole business strategy and highlighted a lot of the sustainability initiatives that they did. I was recognized, oh, Helen, you may have to correct me, as an EP finalist a few years ago. I didn't win, but it elevated me in my career because the businesses saw that there is a need and your credibility with the EP designation where they trusted what I had to say. It's the flywheel method. You want to start small, build off the momentum, and as you get the momentum, people will help spin the wheel for you. But it all comes down to having trust in yourself and being credible as well as knowledgeable on where you need to go. And that's why Eco Canada has been very beneficial for me in my career because, as I said, I do not know everything. We have a great network here from all across Canada. In Ontario, for example, just recently happened, there is a new plastic use annual requirement that the government rolled out. First time it's ever been done. I have polled a few of my contacts from Eco Canada that are in Ontario just to see what they're doing. How are they tracking their reports? And that helped me for success. Because again, you're not just one environmental professional. We're all environmental professionals, and we need to rely on each other. And that's it for me, short and sweet. Unless anyone had any questions. Oh, you guys are too easy on me, but thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for your great words of wisdom and valuable insights. I would now like to bring up our panel. Justine, Dinesh, and Helen, please come on up. Great, thanks. Our first panelist is Dinesh Madagawankar. I hope I said that correct. Okay, good. Dinesh has been an EP for 13 years, and since 2012, he has worked as an environmental consultant at Czech Environmental in Medicine Hat, Alberta. Dinesh has a PhD in environmental science, and he has taught environmental science courses for a long time at Mount Royal University and Medicine Hat College. Dinesh holds a professional biologist designation with the Alberta Society of Professional Biologists. Welcome, Dinesh. Beside Dinesh is Justine Amendola. She is a recently certified EPT, and Justine is a PhD student at Dalhousie University in Halifax, Nova Scotia. So thanks for making the trip out.
Love it. It's More up here than it is there.
Yeah. Justine's research focuses on the source and pathways of environmental plastic pollution with the goal of developing mitigation strategies. Justine also mentors next generation scientists, and last year, her paper on single-use plastics won the Eco Impact EPT Student Paper Award. So welcome, Justine. Many of you know my colleague, Helen Crawley. Helen Crawley has been helping members for more than 5 years. Helen spends a lot of time connecting our members. She does this through our mentorship program, by establishing local chapters, setting up the EP Champion program, organizing EP meetups, hosting the quarterly Connect to Chat, and looking after the Community Connections LinkedIn group. So welcome, Helen, and all panelists. I'd like to start by asking Dinesh a couple of questions. Dinesh, what do you like most about what you're currently doing?
That's $1 million question. There's nothing else I can do because this is what I like to do and this is what has brought me in my career, what I always wanted to do. So being an environmental professional, I think that's the topmost thing which I've ever got in my life. And what, as you said, that what we can give to the people around and the companies who we work with, I think that is the best thing ever that has happened. So I'm very proud to be an EP. Yeah.
What challenges are you currently faced with that your designation could help you overcome?
Yeah, the challenges, as we know, that I'll think outside the box. I'll talk outside the box because I feel that we need more people to know about what is environmental professionals, what is Eco Canada. So I work with so many. I work in Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and there are people who don't know about this. So we have to explain. So those are the challenges I face, and then we have to make everything clear that what we are doing, how we are doing it, and how does it impact the environment on the project which we are doing. So that is one of the challenges I have. Yeah.
Justine, what do you like most about what you're currently doing?
Well, as a PhD student, I love masochism, first off, because I don't know who would challenge themselves for a 4-year degree like that. But on a serious note, I absolutely love my job. I am given a lot of freedom in universities, and because I'm self-funded, I get to pick which questions are of interest to me. And one thing that's really great about plastic pollution right now, it's not a great situation, but of our generation, it's one of the biggest challenges we face, and it's been building up over 70 years, and it's really up to us to figure out how can we manage plastics from a circular economy approach, from the production all the way through the waste management. So there's a lot of movement in the arena of what questions you can ask. So I'm working on microplastics that are suspended in the air and seeing how much come off of clothing, for example, and traveling around air currents around the world, to monitoring waste in municipalities in Halifax and Dartmouth. And it's really great because some of the questions I'm trying to figure out and do chemistry analyses on have direct applications to industry. And right now there's a lot of excitement in universities in getting these projects started because we can get them rolled out on a much greater scale and make Canada a leader in mitigating plastic pollution.
Oh, good. And how has getting your EPT designation helped you?
Oh my gosh, the national connection is amazing. It's easy to feel pigeonholed, I think, in the university system themselves, but let alone, in Eastern Canada, we're kind of in a little pimple off to the side. And of course, we have connections with all the maritime provinces, but having that connection with Alberta and more central parts of Canada and Ontario, of course, helps with a more commercial element, and having the access to the individuals, driving change is really, really critical. So having that EPT certification kind of gets you in the club, gets those conversations going. And after attending Eco Canada last year, I was really intent on making a round 2 visit just to establish those connections.
Great. Helen, my next question is for you.
Okay.
Being on the flip side of this situation, what excites you about what you're seeing in the EP community?
Oh, well, I have to say probably watching the community, the EP community come together, because there part of my job, and I always tell Liz this, that I'm years away from retirement, years away, but my hope is to retire with 10,000 members and a really good force behind those members. And so watching the community come together and build and become a force to be reckoned with is something that I see on my side, because I'm able to connect people together when we go on tour or we do chapters or meetups. You see people connecting and they're talking about the work that they do, because from my side of things, I always feel like people working in the environmental sector are in niches. They're in silos. They're, and I love watching everybody come together. And so that's the most exciting thing for me. And yeah, and hearing like people like Andrew and Dinesh and Justine talking about how their designation just benefits them, that's what floats my boat.
Going back to you, Dinesh, where do you see, or where would you like to see your designation in the next 5 years?
I would like to see more EPs so that I can help more students or many more environmental students or, who would come and see what EP is like. That's what is my dream. Like Helen said that she wants 10,000, I agree with her. This is what I want. Because I'm an EP, I know the benefits of EP. I know when I go around, I travel so much. And there are people who really don't know, unfortunately. So we have to tell them this is what it is. And once they know, oh yeah, I would like to do it. So this is what it is. So that is my, in 5 years, I would definitely I talk to every client who I work with, and they're so happy that there's an organization like this, and we can work with them. So that's what I always feel, that in 5 years, I can do whatever I can to do this, because I've got the benefit of what, this has offered me.
Right.
In my career.
Great. And Justine, what about you as a new early career professional? Where do you want yours to go?
Well, hopefully in 5 years I'll be done my PhD, because that needs to end next year. Oh, no, 1 year, almost done. So yeah, once that's finished, I want to roll into more of a leadership position in universities, because I think it's ripe with opportunity. You have so many people with just passion at a young age, and they're lacking the tools to apply their knowledge into the workforce. And that was my greatest frustration kind of going through the system. So developing applied questions that actually link up with industry in a very substantial way, where you can take results and apply it to manufacturing. For example, how do we make clothing with less microplastic emissions, and kind of approach more sustainable materials and kind of scale it up. So I think that would be the goal in 5 years, and then also maintain this connection with Eco-Canada, simply because within the past few years, we've seen the breakdown of our social media structures. Almost every major platform, we've seen a decline in the quality, and we've seen how quickly our communication can fall apart. So I think maintaining networks like this that have integrity and standards, we're going to fall back more on that. So making sure that we keep the strength of these associations and networks together is going to be critical to actually make a dent in environmental problems.
Great. Helen, what resources and benefits should our members take a closer look at so that they can develop their career in the way they want to go?
Oh, well, one of the buzzwords that we're using this year with regards to renewals is your career identity. And so, especially for people who are establishing their careers, figuring out a plan, like the steps that you want to go through. And so one of the benefits that people should look at is our mentorship program, because we have over 200 mentors. There are EPs and auditors as well, and they've already walked the road. So to be able to sit down with somebody and to pick their brain and to, have a personal experience where you can actually put a plan together to decide where you want to go, who you want to be in your niche, and how you want to become a force to be reckoned with. That's one of the benefits as well that people should be looking at. The other thing for our EP members, our mid to senior chapters, join your chapter. I was talking to somebody this morning who is one of the chapter co-leads, and he got excited as we were talking about the actual touch that you can have on your personal or local community. Because that's one of the goals that we put into place for the chapters. We want to see you, have a fingerprint in your community, and to see something wonderful being built there. Not just, within Eco Canada, but also where you are. So, yeah, those are the big benefits that I would have people look at for sure.
Great. Justine, this next one's for you.
Take that from you, but no worries, it's all good.
Do you think you'll face any barriers to maintaining your designation?
I think where there's a will, there's a way. Seeing the enthusiasm of the community and just the diversity of people here. I mean, we're talking from like different positionalities, but also like professions, is a huge draw to want to stay in. Just a funny story from last year. It was my first time attending a conference like this. I usually stay pretty pigeonholed with my plastic people and my biology people. We usually talk about either trash or animal poop. So having this access to more of an industrial background is very new. And it wasn't towards the end of the conference last year where I ran into a group of atmospheric scientists who were working in private consulting and doing meteorological reports. And I found it really interesting because I needed those networks to actually like kind of be more applied with my PhD work. And it was kind of like a box of chocolates, right? You never know what you're going to get, but that's the most exciting part is that you're engaging with people from different sectors who have a different respect for timelines, and it's really important to have those collaborations set up. So I'm hoping to maintain the connection with Eco Canada. You're not getting rid of me yet. So.
Dinesh, you've been an EP for like 13 years. Are there any barriers for helping you maintain your designation?
I keep up to what is expected of me, first of all. I just, but I don't think, I cannot think of, at the moment what barriers. I don't see any barriers. I like to face challenges if there's anything coming up. And especially like I have a small business, so I do a lot of consulting for, like I've confined myself to site assessments, reclamation, remediation, and DSAs. Mm-hmm. So as far as I'm concerned, my expertise, I don't see anything that is, and foresee anything coming up now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah. Helen.
Yes.
Why is it so important to stay on top of professional development?
How many people here in this room have ever gotten an email from me about PD? Yes, exactly. The reason why it's so important is because if you get behind, your certification is for 5 years. So you need to make sure that you make that requirement as EPs. It's 15 credits per year, per certified year. So if you were certified in January, then it goes January to January. If you were certified in June, it's June to June. And if you don't want a failed, beside that year, make sure that your PD is up to date. Because that's what I often hear. I will never do this again, I promise, and so on and so forth. But part of my job is to help you make sure that you're kept up to date. And if you have any questions about PD, because one of the things that I also find is that people just think conferences. They think conferences, they think courses, and then I get the question of, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough. No, if you volunteer, if you do any self-directed studies, if you've won an award, if you've, helped out at a local science fair, if you've done anything like that, it all counts. Lunch and learns. That's another one that everybody kind of goes, oh, I didn't realize. Yes, they all count. So and please, don't be shy in asking me questions. That's actually why I'm here. I'm here for you. So, don't be afraid.
I'm going to keep you for my last question, Helen. So we've heard our panelists are very engaged with Eco Canada. So Helen, how can anyone become more engaged with us?
Oh my goodness. Well, if you have other questions about other things that we do, for example, the EP Champion program that we run, it's not a designation, it's a title. And as Liz explained, it's more about our members who want to be more engaged and do just a little bit more than just being a member. I would definitely, talk to me about that. There's also extra PD points that you can earn through doing some of the EP Champion activities as well. And we've got, I think right now we have about 57 or 58 EP Champions. Out of 3,200, it should be way more than that. So yeah, definitely talk to me about that. Again, EP chapters, definitely get involved. Ask me about if there's a chapter in your area. We have 8 that have launched, and we have 3 more that are coming up. For people who are in the Toronto GTA area, we're going to be launching the Toronto chapters with the S, because we're going to have Toronto East, Toronto West, and Toronto Central. So that will be coming up in March. So if you have any questions about that, just ask me. Definitely, as Liz also mentioned, we have projects that need your expertise. There's opportunities to be paid through that. Some are volunteer as well, but there's all kinds of ways to get involved.
Great. Thanks, panelist. We want to hear from you now, so if anyone has any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. Yes, Andrew?
I have a loud voice. I don't need a microphone. I already touched on the manufacturing industry. Will we see more training from Eco-Canada looking at manufacturing regulatory requirements?
Oh. That's a good question, and we will contact our research team. We'll definitely pass that comment along and get an answer for you.
I think that there is probably plans in the works for more like mid to senior training that would involve that. I think that's a whole area that we haven't even explored yet. So yeah, definitely is something to mention to our team for sure. Yeah.
I'm just writing that down. Okay. Anybody
Hello.
else have a question?
Yeah,
Oh,
I have a question for you over here. So I was an EPT, now an EP. I'm someone who got a lot of value out of the mentoring program as an EPT. I had the privilege of having a mentee once becoming an EP. But aside from kind of petitioning myself to others to attract another mentee, what are kind of some of the avenues that Eco-Canada can recommend to finding another mentee to work with, since it's something that's like pretty interesting and high on my priority list?
Okay, sure. Have you, you're obviously a part of Mentor City.
Yes.
You can actually take a look through the protege profiles and see if anybody matches you. That is one avenue that you can take. Now, what we do is we encourage proteges to reach out to mentors. But make sure that in your account, if you've already put that you just want to work with one protege at a time, you need to be sure that you have ended the current relationship. So that opens yourself up to proteges finding you as well.
This is something that was mentioned in email correspondence, perhaps with yourself.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe I'll just hop online and double check, make sure.
Yeah, double check,
yeah.
and if not, give me a call, and because I can take a look from my end as well, and let you know. But yeah, definitely. I mean, another thing that we could do is match you up with somebody. I can do that. But we try to leave it to the proteges just because they look by location. They look by, specialization. They look by, so we don't necessarily know the criteria that they're looking by.
That's exactly what I did when I was an EPT.
I can definitely match you up with somebody if you would like me to, that's for sure.
Happy to chat later.
Okay,
Yeah,
sounds
thanks.
good.
Are there any other questions? Well, thank you again, panelists. Oh, sorry, you have a question, sorry.
It's actually for this You had mentioned fashion twice
Yeah.
in relation to your studies there. I'm actually doing a case study on that myself right now. It's a very small one. But I was just wondering how big of an impact would you say fast fashion has on the pollution side of, what has to do with plastics and stuff like that?
How many hours do we have to talk
Exactly.
about it? It's immense. It's absolutely immense, starting from the beginning of the supply chain with production for the different fabrics that are needed down to, I mean, if we're dealing with like the organic side, whatever cotton's grown, I mean, there's a lot of water consumption there, but more from the synthetic side, that's where it becomes especially concerning because there's very little regulation on the amount of additives that are added to clothing during the production process, and nobody's actually monitoring it. So we're dealing with a lot of chemicals. I think one report that was released by a Norwegian group of scientists clocked 20,000 chemicals directly related to the plastics industry, and 4,000 of them, so a quarter, were known to be toxic to humans, starting with attacks on the reproductive system, the heart, the brain, like every major organ basically, and that's only the chemicals that were studied. And clothing is such an integral part of our society, and especially with fast fashion, it's coming at a rate that we can't even comprehend with companies like Shein popping up, and Forever 21 started the trend, but yeah, it's one of those sectors that's really hasn't had the regulation it needs. And as we're starting to approach the finalization of the UN Plastics Treaty, there's actually no mention of synthetic clothing in the first unifying plastics treaty around the world. So let that sink in for a sec, because it's really alarming that we're not really honing in on sectors per se or materials. One quick plug-in is one project that I'm currently working on is in collaboration with an organization called 5 Gyres. It's a nonprofit set up in San Francisco in California. And we did a sail for science with them where we had a whole bunch of stakeholders from the apparel industry. And my colleague and myself basically coordinated the scientific effort for sending scientists on boat so that we could measure the amount of plastics in the air that were present around San Francisco Bay during the sail. So there were discussions about, the need for more sustainable apparel, but then also coupling that with scientists who were actually taking real samples that we processed in the lab to see just, what are the impacts and what kind of materials are floating around. So I think in terms of like industry, there's huge opportunity to partner up with scientists to have that corporate environmental component and, just giving back in a very sincere way, but having meaningful partnerships from the start. So hopefully that was good. Yeah. Sure.
I'll make it easy. I'll make it easy.
Go for it.
We need new members in Eco Canada. So to get it is to get the support from the businesses to hire EP professionals. So is there any plans to expand the EP employer program?
Ooh, yes, there are. Liz is shaking her head, yes. Yeah. Do you want to answer that, or? Okay.
Thank you, good sir.
Short answer is yes, particularly also on the SBEP front as well, and looking at, SBEP employer, or who knows what we'll call it. Right now, it's just sort of a concept. Right now, we have 17 EP employers. Those range from, organizations that are micro in size all the way to, the largest maybe consulting company in Canada or across the world. So they're all different sizes. I think when we initially developed EP Employer, it was meant for small to medium to provide HR support. We're seeing now that it's so much more than that. And so one of our strategic priorities for this year, which you had mentioned you neglected to talk about EP Employer, I did too. But one of those is to see how we can expand that, right? How we can make it more beneficial. It helps us because it helps with member retention, obviously, but if we want employers to start asking for it, if we want industry to start demanding EP, it really does start with industry. It starts with employers and getting their recognition. So I can't give you a definitive answer of kind of what that's going to be, but that is definitely for sure a priority and something to focus on for 2025. Yeah.
Are there any other questions? Great. Well, thanks very much, panelists. And I will ask Liz to come up and close out our session.
All right, let's wrap this up. Sounds like there's a party next door. I'm kind of curious as to what's been going on there, but we can all soon find out maybe. Thank you to all of our speakers, all of our guests, each of you for coming here today. As we wrap things up, just a couple things to remember. We have the EP Gala that's happening tonight. So that dinner starts at 6 p.m. There's networking at 5:30. Hope to see you all there. Hope to see you here again tomorrow. And then tomorrow morning, we have our EP breakfast. So if you're a member, please come. If you haven't yet signed up, that's okay. Have a chat with Helen. She'll make sure to give you all of the information that you need. But ultimately, thank you all for your participation, for your attention, for your time. We sincerely appreciate it, and we look forward to working with you more and promoting more about Eco Canada certification. Thanks.